Every morning on this site feels like opening a new page, something you think you've seen before, until a new challenge shows up. Some days move fast, others test your patience, but each one teaches you something. Today, the focus shifts to the side walls. We are not sure how much we'll get done. Maybe the back wall, or maybe we even sneak a look inside. But that's the thing with building. You plan, then adjust as you go. Hi, my name is Suowino. I do videos around cooking, farming, and homesteading in general. If this is the kind of content that interests you, kindly click the subscribe button for more videos. The main task for today is for the sidewalls, but before they even got to the cutting, we found the team doing something a bit different. They had tied a rope from one end of the wall to the other, not for decoration, but to check for alignment. Some parts of the wall had overlapped in strange ways. The rope helped them see exactly where the mud was bulging, where straws were sticking out oddly, or where the wall needed filling. So they went in with a panga, trimming what didn't belong and leaving behind a cleaner surface to work with. I like that they took their time to correct things before moving forward. Because we are on the second cutting, the mixing will be a little different, like I mentioned in the previous video. We are not choosing rice straws this time. The texture of the soil mix has changed. It's smoother, wetter, and honestly, easier to spread. The team didn't have to worry about binding the mixture together like before. It was more about getting the right consistency. Not too runny, not too thick. Using just the feel of the soil in their hands and also by their feet because they also stamped their feet in the mud. The idea behind this cut is simple. Clean up the look, hide the rice straw sticking out from earlier layers, and prep the wall to whatever finish will come next. After mixing, the real action started. They start by picking up the soil mixture with both hands and throwing it directly onto the wall. Each throw is firm and controlled, and the soil sticks exactly where it's placed. They repeat this action over and over, working across the surface, covering one section at a time. As more of the wall gets filled, you can see the layer building. Not too thick, just enough to cover the exposed straws and even out the shape of the wall. After throwing, they don't move on immediately. They go back to where they started and begin smoothing the surface with their bare hands. Their palms press into the soil, flattening out any uneven patches and gently blending the edges together. You can hear the soft sound of their hands moving across the wall, touching parts that need more pressure and leaving the areas that are already leveled. This process takes time. The goal isn't perfection, it's control and balance. With each section, you can see the difference. The rough, uneven surface slowly starts to take on a cleaner finish. No straws sticking out, no loose chunks, just a flat, natural-looking wall, just ready for the next stage. As they moved further down the wall, the pattern stayed the same. Throw, press, and smooth. Some sections had deeper gaps from the first coat, so they added a little more soil in those areas to create an even surface. You could see them stepping back now and then to check the alignment with their eyes, not relying on any tools. When the soil didn't sit right, they removed it and redid the spot immediately. They weren't in a hurry to finish. They were focused on getting it right the first time. Even without the straw in the mix, the soil was holding well. No sliding, no crumbling. The wall slowly started to lose that raw, patchy look and instead looked smoother and more solid. There are people who have been asking how long it takes to build this kind of a house, from start to finish. Now, since we are using natural materials like soil, rice straws, water, and a lot of hands-on work, what most people call a cob house, it's not something you can rush. The timeline really depends on different factors. The biggest one is the weather, because each layer of the wall needs time to dry before moving to the next. Rainy days can slow things down quite a bit. You can't coat wet walls, and you also can't mix fresh soil properly if the ground is soaked. Then there's the drying period before you even get to the finishing, like smoothing the final layers, doing any decorative touches, and eventually sealing or painting, depending on the look you want. If the weather stays dry and the team is consistent, it can take anywhere from 2 to 3 months. But with breaks in between, unpredictable weather, and finishing details, it can go up to 4 or even 5 months. So overall, building a cob house is a gradual process, one that needs patience more than speed. So finally, we are working on the open front part of the house. This section has been waiting for a while. We needed the Makuti guys to finish up on that small area above before anything else could be done here. But today is the day. This is the last time we are seeing it open like this, and I'm honestly a bit excited to watch it change. Once those phyto are placed and everything is sealed off, I feel like it's really going to elevate the whole entrance. I'm not exactly sure how it will turn out, but let's wait and see. Sometimes it's the smallest changes that shift the whole feel of a space. By the way, once the house is finally complete, I'll be doing a full breakdown video where I share everything. How much we spent from the very beginning up to the final finish. I will include materials, transport, labor, and even those extra things that pop up out of nowhere when you're least expecting them. A lot of people don't realize that even with natural building, the cost can still add up, especially when you're working in phases like we've been doing. But for now, I want to hear from you. How much do you think we've spent so far? Just drop your guess in the comments. Even if you're not sure, I'm really curious to see what you all think. Some people assume it's cheap because you're using soil and straw. Others assume it's expensive because of the makuti. Others are shocked by the time and effort that goes into it. So let's see who comes close. And don't worry, the full breakdown is coming soon, once we cross that final stretch. And if you're watching us for the very first time, a big warm welcome to this space where we've been building our village home for quite some time now. We actually have a full playlist that takes you all the way from the very beginning up to where we are today. So feel free to go back and watch those earlier videos to catch up and see how everything started. I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has been subscribing and supporting this journey so far. If you haven't subscribed just yet, please do. It really helps us grow this beautiful community we're building together. I'm so glad to have you here with us. I am excited to keep sharing every step of this build with you. The challenges, the little wins, and everything in between. Your comments and support mean a lot. So don't hesitate to share your thoughts or ask questions as we go along. Building a home like this isn't just about walls and roof. It's about the stories, the learning, and the community that grows around it. So stick around, join the conversation, and let's see where this journey takes us together. Have you ever stayed in a house built with this kind of a design? Maybe it was your grandparents' home, your parents' home, a family friend's place, or somewhere you've admired from afar and wish you could stay in one day. For some of us, this might look like what we call a simba, a small traditional two-roomed house made from mud, often with grass thatching or iron sheets for roofing, depending on the region. Traditionally, a simba is the first house a man builds when he leaves his father's home to start his own family. It holds a special place in our culture, symbolizing independence and new beginnings. Although simbas vary in style depending on where you come from, they all share a feeling of warmth, simplicity, and connection to the land. There's something unique about these homes: their modesty, how they blend naturally with their surroundings, and the stories they hold within their walls. Even if you haven't stayed in one yourself, maybe you have envied the beauty of these traditional builds and dreamed of living in a space that feels deeply connected to culture and nature. For my husband and I, whenever we go on adventures, we always look for places that have this kind of character. Homes or cottages that tell a story through their design and materials. I remember just this year, during my birthday, We stayed in some cottages near the Mambrui sand dunes in Malindi. They had beautiful makuchi roofing, and while I don't really remember all the details about the walls, the whole space had such a calm, cool vibe. It's moments like those that make you appreciate the craft behind these homes even more. Once the space at the entrance was cleared, they began placing the fito. It started with one horizontal fito laid across each of the main vertical poles, just above where the door will eventually be. These horizontal pieces helped extend the height of the main poles, creating a sort of frame to guide the next stage. From there, they began nailing down vertical fito, lining them up from where the doorway is up to where they felt it made sense to stop. At first, everything seemed to go smoothly, but after a few were in, it became clear that some weren't sitting straight. So they took a step back, removed a few, and redid them. We have mentioned before in a previous video, it's okay to repeat steps until we get it right. The aim isn't perfection, but strength and balance. Once one side was complete, they moved to the other, making sure that each fito on the front side had a corresponding one on the back. That way, when it's time to pack in the mud, the spacing and support will match what we've already done on the rest of the walls. Little by little, the entrance is finally coming together. Slow, steady, and intentional. If this were your house, what would you have done differently? From the design to the materials to the way things have been built so far. I know for some of you watching, you'll probably be thinking, I will have added a window here, or I will have used different roofing. And honestly, that's what makes this journey so interesting. Everyone sees a home differently, and even for me, there are things I look at now and wonder if we could have done them another way. But at the same time, this is how we learn, by doing, by adjusting, and by being part of every little step. So feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. If this was your build, what would you have done differently from start to finish? And even with all these little adjustments we've had to make along the way, it's deeply satisfying to see it all come together slowly. This isn't the kind of build where everything is pre-planned to the last detail. It's more of a living project, one that changes as we go, based on what works, what feels right, and what the day brings. Sometimes the weather decides how much we can get done. Other times it's just the energy of the team or how the materials behave that day. But through all of it, we are creating something real, something with character and a story behind every pole and every handful of mud. And maybe that's what I love most about it. It's not just a house, it's a journey. Every time I walk past a wall or stand under a beam, I remember the decisions we made, the moments we paused to figure things out, or even the laughter we shared when something went unexpectedly wrong. It's a build filled with memory, not just structure. And by the time it's done, I know it won't just be about how it looks, but about the process that brought it to life. The two guys who had been finishing up the left side wall eventually joined in to help complete this entrance section. It was really encouraging to see everyone come together to wrap it up. I am so pleased with how things are turning out. The teamwork, the flow, and just the general progress. Every day brings us a little closer to the finish line. And seeing this kind of momentum really lifts my spirits. What stood out to me most was how naturally the transition happened. Once the other wall was complete, the team simply moved in and joined the others. It's that quiet kind of support that keeps everything moving. And standing there watching them, I just felt grateful. Grateful that we've reached this point, and grateful for the kind of people helping bring this vision to life. That was all for today, guys. As always, thank you so much for sticking with me. Your support means everything. I can't wait to see what tomorrow brings, and I hope you'll be right here with me for it. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button, give this video a like, and drop a comment. I love hearing your thoughts. Bye! We shall try again tomorrow.